Welcome back to the Commissioner's Corner. Again, I'm Scott. This is Thomas, Elizabeth, and Karn. Thanks for sticking with us after one segment and going into the second. That's good persistence on your part. All right, so we're going to talk about some legislative activity at the state level. Summit County has been very active, both at the local, state, and the federal level, and it's state season, open season for legislators these days. And so the first thing we want to talk about is short-term rental licensing regulations. So Thomas, you want to talk about that one?
This is an idea that CCI, which stands for Colorado Counties, Inc., brought forward. Summit County, as well as most of the counties in Colorado, belong to this organization. And counties have very different powers than municipalities in Colorado. Counties are an extension of state government. We can do only those things that the state legislature and governor explicitly approve for us to do. And one of the things that certainly has come up and that we've been dealing with here in Summit County as of late is short-term rentals, an appropriate oversight regulation of short-term rentals. Towns have the ability to license short-term rentals. Counties do not currently, and a bill that is being carried by our own Representative McCluskey and our own State Senator Bob Rankin would give counties the ability to license short-term rentals. Licensing is a far more effective way to regulate an activity than what we're currently doing, which is through a land use permit. So for Summit County, unincorporated Summit County, our regulations are all through land use permitting. Inside towns, it's done through licensing. And I'd have to bring Jeff Huntley in here to explain the difference, but licensing is far more effective and immediate for us to be able to deal with swift regulation of problems if there's a problem with an short-term rental. It's gotten, through House Committee and passed by the State House. And so here this next week, it'll start to make its way through the Senate process. We've been very involved in that. The other bill that that I testified on just last week, 1001, and that has to do with statewide regulation of tobacco and nicotine products. We did a bunch here locally last year between the towns and the county in terms of licensing for tobacco and nicotine shops, raising the age to 21 for legal purchase, and then the voters imposed a tax onto tobacco and nicotine products that passed by 73%, I think, right? But there's an effort right now underway for a statewide licensing of any shop that would sell tobacco or nicotine products, as well as closing the loopholes with regards to online sales. So we were talking about this earlier, but at the committee hearing last week when I was testifying, a Girl Scout came in and showed the committee how easy it is to purchase tobacco and nicotine products online. And so, she got done with her testimony and we all looked around and said, can we just go home now? Because you're definitely going to vote yes. And the committee voted 9-1 in favor of the bill. So, but that will mean a lot for us here locally because we all identified, there's this loophole. You can do things pretty easily online and kids can. And so that's the other thing that we testified on just this last week.
Yeah, and we've certainly talked as the licensing and as the regulatory changes came about here locally, that again, how do we as local entities even track any of the online sales activity? How do we regulate that in any meaningful way? And we've heard that from local retailers as well, that it's not fair to them because they're held to this expectation, but folks are going to just go buy it online.
Right.
And so I think that is it's a great step forward if that moves forward and does restrict that appropriately on an online level as well.
And just a quick shout out to both Representative Julie McCluskey as well as State Senator Bob Rankin. McCluskey is a Democrat, Rankin is a Republican. I agree more often with McCluskey, no surprise there, but they both are remarkable legislators. They are both leaders in their own parties as well as inside the Capitol. And interestingly, both of them serve on the Joint Budget Committee, and that's 6 legislators that are responsible for crafting the entire state budget. And so we're very fortunate right now to have both of those representing Summit County.
Absolutely. Any comments on either of those pieces of legislation?
I think they're great.
Yeah.
Thanks to Thomas for taking the time to be down there in Denver, driving the roads with good snow tires.
Thomas was texting me last week at, I don't know what it was, 8 or 8:30 at night, something like that, saying he was still waiting to testify. And when you do get to testify, it's 3 minutes. And that's sort of it. And so you waste a whole lot of your time.
You get 3 minutes and then you get grilled with tough questions after. So. Yeah, but it's all part of the process. But these are both good pieces of legislation, and I think that they're going to make it across the finish line.
It's great. It's great. All right, we're going to take another break. We'll be back, and we're going to talk about recycling and composting and other random thoughts. All right.